welcome back to another website audit. If you're new here, I'm Jess of Jess Creatives, and every Wednesday I do a website audit for people who have volunteered their websites. I'm not just picking on random people on the internet. And as you can see, I've already been scrolling through this website. And so let's dive in. So this is Food Freedom Solution that is run by Emily. And so she's a registered dietitian. The first thing that I want to point out, one, I love the color scheme. I love how overall everything is pretty clean and simple. So I think we have a pretty solid start here, but I see some changes that I think would really help take this website up a notch, make it more productive, more streamlined, help save Emily time so she can spend less time on social, less time with emails or DMs back and forth. And so I want to start with this homepage banner. Love that it's just people talking, eating. But the thing that I want to change, and I've mentioned this in other audits, is this heading that is just your business name typed out again when we already have the logo up in the top. So on top of this image, you can see Food Freedom Solution. But we already know that that's the business because that's the domain that's in the logo. So we don't need it here a third time. We really want to utilize this space better to really capture people's attention and help them know that they are in the right place and this is what they are looking for. And so one of the easiest things you could do is really just move this little headline up on the banner. And it can be this text size. I probably wouldn't put it in all caps like this since it's much longer, and that amount of all caps text can feel like someone is yelling at you, and we don't want that. So that is, it could be something like that. It could be something a little bit different if you want to keep that here. If you don't want to use this little headline up on the image, I would make sure that whatever is on the image is something that is very clear, very specific about your work. We don't want to go into using headlines that are just talking about like I wouldn't shorten it to just make peace with your body, because that could mean a lot of things. People wouldn't be entirely clear maybe that you are a dietitian and what that work really entails. And so I think this would work, but if not, you can, come up with something else. So that would be the first change that I would make. I do think the body copy font could just be like 1 point bigger. It feels a tiny bit small, so I'd make that a little bit bigger. And then I would probably remove this request a free discovery call button, because right now we only know your business name and this little bit of information, and you are already asking for people to take a step to book a call, which might feel like too big of a step. This is like asking for a second date before we've even eaten the appetizers. So we can keep this button elsewhere on the page and on other pages, but right now it's a little too soon to have this in this call to action right here. What you could do is have this button say like, learn more about our services, or learn more about our team, or something like that. You can send them to another page. I just wouldn't necessarily have it point to a call right now. And then we have, here's the different ways we can work together. But I do think this needs a heading of some sort that literally says like how we can help you, or like ways we work with our clients, or something like that to give context. Because you just kind of have these plopped here without more information. And so I would add that. What I love about the images that you have chosen up here and down here is that they are so diverse in people, in body sizes, in like all the things that they're eating. So I think this is really good. I do notice this isn't a major thing, but again, it is my job to be nitpicky. um, I can tell that these were taken by different photographers, so they don't feel totally cohesive. Now, I'm not saying you need to go have a whole photo shoot and, you know, and that kind of thing. Like, I'm not asking you to do that, but I'm assuming these are probably from a site like Unsplash or Canva or something like that. You can, and this one too, this one is very, very muted and dark compared to like these are very light and bright. This one has a very warm tone. This one's a little bit like faded, really bright. This one seems just pretty like standard. You can take these images into Photoshop or Canva or even like editing apps on your phone and tweak the like colors, the brightness, the saturation, and that kind of thing. And tweaking all of those would make this feel more cohesive. This is not a deal breaker, but it's just when the images feel more cohesive together, it elevates your brand and your website and it feels more professional. And so that is something I would tweak. You might, this one is going to be hard up here because it's so dark, moody, and just not low contrast, but muted. That's the word I was looking for. It's going to be more difficult to get this one to match and feel cohesive with these. Like you're not going to be able to get it as like bright and vibrant. You can certainly try, but I'm just saying you might have to find a different image for up here. But I think just a little tweaking could make these feel more cohesive. And then we have Discovery Call and Food Freedom Solution. I think these headlines could be a little bit larger. It feels really quiet, like, hey, you can book a Discovery Call. And I have Food Freedom Solution. And then the other thing is I would think about a new header here because Food Freedom, like, it doesn't instantly grab my attention. And I'm also like, well, this is your business name. And so I would want to come up with something like signature program or something like that to be more enticing. I'd also, if you have this picture over here on the right, I would probably like to have another picture over here. This picture right here feels a little out of place because there's nothing over here. You could also rework this section. You could remove the image. You could have the image up here with like a bigger heading before they go into the two options, the two calls to action. So that's just something to think about. And then we have the Let's Get Social with your Instagram feed. This feels a little large for the grid. And so I would actually probably add another square or two. Typically with Instagram feeds, you can add more squares or just like the sizing. So if there's like 6 or 7 squares, it's a little bit shorter. Because right now, like these images are bigger than even your image. And so just the proportion of how much attention we want to be driving to that, I would tweak that. Then let's hop over to your about page, meet our team. I do like that you mentioned like currently on maternity leave, so people know, but something that is missing from your about page, because you do have also like your other dietitian here. I want to know more about the practice as a whole. So I think on your about page, you also need to talk about your nutrition approach and why this is your philosophy, including your values. I also want to see your education and credentials. Google really wants to see that. It is mentioned down here in Brienne's a little bit, but I would make sure and call that out in yours as well. And we want to know what makes you different. Why should we work with Food Freedom Solution as opposed to another dietitian? That information is going to help people connect with your business, connect with you more, and keep clicking around your site. So that's something to think about. Yeah. And then your one-to-one services page. This page, I think, is probably the page that needs maybe the most work, just because there's not really any copy that's talking about why this is important, why this is the right solution right now, why this is going to work when other things haven't. Because right now it's just very point blank. This is what we help with. Here's the sessions and the pricing. That's all. That's what you get. But nutrition counseling and dealing with your health is a very personal decision. Obviously, like, people are like, do I work with this dietitian? Do I work with a nutritionist? Do I go to my doctor? Do I, like, there's a lot of things that are going, like, things that they are considering. And so while we want to keep what is currently here, we also want to add more copy to help connect with people so that when they are looking at this page, they're like, yes, this is what I am wanting to work on. This person understands me. I feel safe working with them. These are the problems I'm dealing with. And so I would add a little bit more copy before you dive into the areas of practice and the sessions and the prices. I like the little call out here. The pictures down here, again, like tweaking. This one's very warm and summery, and then this one's much more, I don't want to say dark, but a little bit muted inside and that kind of thing. And so we just want to balance it out so they feel more cohesive and fit together. I like that you have the FAQs and testimonials. Testimonials need to go higher on the page, though. I also typically don't love these sliders because people often do not click and read all of the testimonials. And so, one, we don't want to leave testimonials at the bottom because social proof helps with conversions so much. So to get more people to book a discovery call and to hire you, you need to have this social proof higher on the page. So when you are adding copy up here at the top, include some of those testimonials in the copy. Or have like some copy, headline, a few paragraphs, and then break it up with, similar to how you have this white space right here, break it up with a testimonial or two testimonials side by side so they don't have to click to read through them. And then, you can add more copy, then go into the counsel, the areas of practice and the sessions, and then have more testimonials up here as well. We don't want to leave the testimonials at the bottom of the page. They're going to get overlooked, and that can really, really, again, help your conversions and getting clients. You might also, some of these are looking a little bit, like this one's fine, but some of these are looking a little long. And so don't be afraid to cut or trim your testimonials. I would say, and this one was another pretty large one. So I typically, what I do is, and what I recommend to clients is, when you are like, okay, well, how do I trim this testimonial? Like, everything sounds great. Cut out anything that sounds repetitive, either repetitive within the testimonial itself or repetitive if someone else, if it's like, oh, Emily is so nice, and like all 4 testimonials are saying, Emily is so nice. It's not that we don't want to know that you're nice, but we don't need 4 people to tell us that. We want to look more at like, what specific changes did I get? And so, so even if you can cut it down just to when they're talking about that, about specific changes that happened with them, that is going to be a better testimonial than talking about like, you're nice, you're knowledgeable, and that kind of thing. So I would split these up, shorten them, and move them up the page, throughout the page typically. I do like that you have an image of you on here. I think that's good. I mean, the stock photos are good too, but it is good to still include a photo of you on the sales page. So I'm glad you have that. Don't get rid of that. And then contact pages are pretty self-explanatory, pretty short and sweet. So I think this is pretty good. I would add some more depending on what kind of contact form inquiries you're getting, or if you find that clients are filling this out instead of booking a call, I would ask maybe some more questions. This is one great way that your website can help you save more time and streamline things in your business is your contact form or inquiry form. So asking questions, not that we need to have 12 questions because people are just initially reaching out, but even just tweaking it to like, what are you wanting to work on? And then adding another question of like, what have you tried before? Because then when you get that message from, Amy that's inquiring, you can look at the notification, the email, whatever, and say, okay, Amy has tried X, Y, and Z. She's tried to just do it herself. She read a book or something, and it's not working, and she's wanting to work on X, Y, and Z. Then you can tailor your email response to her and say, hey, Amy, like, I saw that you've already tried this book, this so-and-so's program, you've tried whatever, and you really are wanting to work on X, Y, and Z. I can help you. Our practice can help you with da 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 da. Because often when people just have the name, email, message, you get inquiries that are just like, I want nutrition counseling. Or like, I need help. Sometimes, occasionally, yes, people are more open and will have longer messages, but I find a lot of people do not. They are pretty short and sweet. Like, you don't get the full picture where you can tailor your response better to them and get a few more details from them up front. So that is something I would kind of think about and work on. And then blog, let's look at this real quick. So it looks like right now you just have one blog. So I don't know if you just started blogging over the summer. I'm assuming that's the case because I don't see any others. So one, consistent blogging is going to help your SEO. But two, you can also, if you're like, again, because it looks like you're on maternity leave, you could hide the blog from your navigation menu for now until you get back into blogging. But blogging is always the number one thing that I recommend for people who want to try and increase their SEO and visibility in Google search. So overall, it's a really solid start. I think some tweaks could help with just overall strategy, conversions, and connecting with your audience. So yeah, those are my recommendations. If you are watching and you would like a website audit, you can always leave your website in the comments and I will add you to the list. If you want website help, whether that's just a VIP day for some quick changes or you need a whole new website, you can also check out my website. I'll link that down in the description as well. I would love to help you have a more strategic website so you can spend less time on social media and have more free time in your day-to-day. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all next week.